different or similar?
Okay.
Can you think of similar languages and different languages? In what way? Okay.
Okay.
From your previous experience, okay?
Okay.
Mira, are you here?
Amira, not Amira. My
The
this
missing.
is not my name. My name is Amira.
Okay, Amira.
Yes.
Uh, are there languages which are richer than others?
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
Najla,
Yes, I'm
yeah,
here.
your question is, are all languages equal?
Okay.
Okay. Noor, your question is, are all languages equally complex?
It means if there is a language, it's harder than the other.
Complex in terms of structural complexity.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, okay. So,
Okay.
Nora, are there easy languages and difficult languages? Are you here? Nuran,
I'm here.
yeah. Are there easy languages and difficult languages? Rahma, you have your question. Rabib,
Yes.
are there inherent limitations in the ability of languages to express ideas and thoughts? Salsabil, do primitive languages exist? And Sirine, to what extent are languages different or similar? Okay, so each one of you, I hope. Yeah, do you have any questions?
I do have a question.
Yeah,
Dealing with the question, are all languages equally complex? Complex, it means dealing with the grammar or
the grammar and the
pronunciation.
complexity.
Complexity dealing with everything, or grammar and
Grammatical
pronunciation.
complexity,
Only grammatical?
morphological complexity.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so these are a few questions. Each one of you is going to take a question and to think about it and gather the different assumptions, different prejudice, different experiences he has, or different previous experiences he has or she has with these questions. You have 5 minutes for this.
Salam alaikum. Alaikum assalam. Salam alaikum.
Okay,
Wa alaikum
your
assalam.
attention,
Karam
please.
karam. Salam alaikum.
Are you watching the
Mm,
presentation here, the slides? Are you
yes.
watching them?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we start with the WM.
Yes.
Yeah. Are all languages equal? What can you say about this?
Well, to my thinking, not all languages equal. In regards to the richness in the vocabulary and words of not of some languages, they are not all equal. Um, Concerning the use of some languages, some are worldwide, like English is used in many countries of the world, and some others are not even.
Okay, you are raising two important questions, okay, or two important issues. The first issue is about the richness of certain languages, okay,
Yeah.
in terms of vocabulary, you said. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Now, my question is it possible for you to quantify the vocabulary in each language?
Sorry, I don't understand you.
Can you quantify? Can you say, for example, I think that English is richer than Arabic Because English includes 1 million words, 1 million nouns, for example, while Arabic includes 500,000 words, for example. Can you say this?
I don't know.
You don't know because
Yes,
actually it's
think
not.
yes.
Can you do this? Can you do this? Can any linguist do this? Not you. Any
I don't.
specialist in dictionaries, can he or she do this?
I don't think so.
It's very difficult. It's very
Yeah.
difficult. Why? Because of many reasons. One of them is that this quantification of items within the language is not possible
Mhm.
because languages are not stable entities.
Mhm.
Each day we witness the entry of new words, and at the same time we witness the disappearance of
Yes.
others that we can find in a dictionary, but they are not used.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
But you have raised another issue which is very important here, which is a question of economic development. Could you please repeat it concerning the development of some?
I said the use of some languages. Some are worldwide.
Yeah, worldwide. You are right. Now, this idea, does it relate really to language or to the people in the language or to the power of the people or of the country of the language?
Mm, the power of the country, maybe.
Yeah. The idea of being useful and being used in technology, in science, is not an inherent characteristic of the language that makes it able to express very complex technological development while other languages cannot. It's much more related to the technological development of the country or of the people who speak the language. Now, if you are a scientist in a given language and you discover something, okay, a theory, an object, I don't know, an application, whatever, are you going to label it in Arabic if you are an English speaker?
No.
No, you are not going to do it. You are going to label it in English, in your native language. So does it mean that Arabic cannot find the label to this word or to this discovery?
No.
It's much more related to the cultural development, to the technological development within a given language community, rather than to an inherent deficiency within a given language. Okay? Do you
Okay.
understand me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So here, is there another person who has this same question?
Yes.
Yes?
In my mind, language is unequal because sometimes you have
Can
the
you speak
expression.
up, please?
Okay. We
Who
have
is
some.
talking? Najla?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have
What
some
can you?
movements we have in Arabic. It cannot be. We do not find it in English or French language.
What kind of vocabulary?
Arabic vocabulary.
Yeah, it's true. And why don't we find it in English or in other languages? Is it due to the weakness of English?
No, I
I
think
believe because
depends
Arabic is
depends the
more rich.
culture.
I won't believe this. Okay, it's more related to the fact that, for example, you find if we know, for example, that in Al-Mutanabbi poetry we use Al-Mutanabbi used to use many synonyms for the word sword, okay? لامة فاضة أضاة دلاس أحكمت صنعها يد داوود. Okay, these are four synonyms for the word sword. Okay, in Arabic. So yeah, in this respect, Arabic is very rich in this vocabulary item related to warriors, related to courage, to chivalry, etc. Because this is part of the culture. These are the values of the culture. These are not problems related to the language or weaknesses inherent in it, okay? Or on the country's strengths in the language. They are more related to the needs of the users, to the preferences of the users of the language. If you find many words for the word swords in Arabic, you would find many words for the word snow in English. Why? Because language usually responds to the needs of its users. Okay? Now, coming to the question of are languages equal? I think what we said at the beginning is very important. When saying are all languages equal, equality is a value judgment. Equality presupposes superiority and inferiority, okay? And in this case, to say that languages are equal or not equal, as your friend has said, you have to specify on what basis. Yes or no?
Yes.
On what basis
Yes.
are they equal or not equal? And we started with a very important parameter or criteria for comparing
Yes.
criterion, sorry, for comparing language, which is the quantity of items within the language. We started with the question of
I don't understand the quantity of the
who
what
is saying,
quantity
who's
means.
talking, please.
Noor,
Noor, yes, please, Noor.
what do you mean by quantity? I don't understand what quantity means.
Okay, quantity means the quantity of vocabulary items within a language, the quantity of verbs, the quantity of nouns, etc.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a very important parameter for comparing languages, is to specify the quantity of items. Now it has been proved that it is very difficult to quantify languages because languages are not stable entities. They change every day. So we cannot quantify them. Your friends have also raised the problem of the ability to talk about technological development. And we saw that the ability to talk about the technological development is more associated with the culture, with the economy, than with the language itself. Okay?
Okay.
Another, yes, what is your question, please? Amira, what is your question?
Just wait me a second.
Yeah, yeah,
Are
go
there
ahead.
languages which are richer than others?
Yeah,
This is my question.
yeah.
I think there are some languages which are richer than others.
In what?
Uh,
Yeah.
for example, the French language or Arabic language are not similar to English language.
In what
Uh,
way?
each one have its characteristics. For example, uh, uh,
Yes.
the richness of the vocabulary, and when we say when we say it in Arabic, we find ourselves more. We can enrich our vocabulary, but if we use if we are in English language, if we use the English language, we should be brief and simple as much as possible.
Okay, you are raising a very important issue that has to do not with the language, it's with the rhetorical preferences of the users of a given language. These are
Yes,
rhetorical preferences
yes,
that have to do with the rhetorical simplicity or the stylistic simplicity of languages, or the stylistic sophistication of other languages. Now, classical Arabic, for example, looks for is after the rhetorical and the stylistic sophistication. English is different, but I think this is not purely linguistic. Okay, this can be
yes,
explained at
yes,
least by two factors. The first factor is the preferences of the people who speak the language.
okay,
If you are a native speaker of Arabic
yes,
and you take into consideration الشعر الجاهلي, for
yes.
example, الشعر
We
الجاهلي
are
is a
easy.
highly complex kind of
Yes,
poetry,
yes.
very rich in vocabulary.
Uh, we
Yeah,
can,
yeah.
for example, native speaker like African American or anyway any other speaker.
Mhm.
We mentioned that English is a very easy language for them. I can mention this, not the others groups,
This is
ethnic
another
groups.
issue we'll discuss later on with your
Okay,
friends. Okay, yeah,
okay, okay,
question of easiness, etc. But in question of rhetorical complexity, we can talk about the preferences of the users of a given language. Some users of a given language would say that if you are educated, so you have to speak a rhetorically sophisticated language. If you are less educated, you are not you speak plain English or plain Arabic, etc. And this has to do with the preferences. And I think in Arabic, the issue has to do with the influence of the Quran. The Quran is a highly sophisticated, a highly rhetorically sophisticated and stylistically sophisticated language, okay? And
okay,
this stylistic sophistication, if you want, has been set as the standard of eloquence in Arabic, okay? So we
okay,
always compare literary productions with the Quran, not with the Quran to say that they are equal, but in the Quran in the sense of stylistic perfectness, or of when they are stylistically perfect or not. So yes, I think this is a religious reason. Okay, the Quran has been set as a standard of rhetoric, and every written production and every oral production was compared with the Quran in its stylistic sophistication, not in its content. Okay. Okay. So this high standard has made it that Arabic readers and Arabic writers use stylistically, rhetorically complex structures. Okay, this is one explanation. You can find others. Let's move to the next question. Are all languages equally complex? Who has this question?
I have this question.
Who is talking, please?
Noor,
No. Yeah, give us your answer.
my answer is it's a yes and no. I have. I think all languages are not equally complex because there is some hard languages comparing to others like German, Russian, and Arabic. Speaking of grammar and vocabulary, etc., let's compare Arabic and English grammar, for example.
Mhm.
I believe English grammar it's much easier to learn or to understand. Personally, I can be better at English grammar than the Arabic one. So they're not
Yeah, as
equal.
far as I know, my students, they are not very good in English grammar.
Well,
But
you can try.
Yes.
True.
yeah, but I have to check this year to see. Yeah,
uh,
I see your point here. Yeah, carry on, Amira.
uh, Noor,
No,
my,
not
my name is
Amira.
Noor. Noor.
Noor, yes, Noor.
However, there is a difference to dealing with pronunciation, but they are the same. For example, British and American accent, they differ, but they are the same. I mean, the English, British accent, and
Mm-hmm.
American accent, but they are the
Mm-hmm.
same language.
Yes, yes.
So this is not this is equality,
Mm-hmm.
but each one has its
Mm-hmm.
own rules of and ways of uttering syllables and vowels. So let's say that dealing with with accents,
Mm-hmm.
there is equal complexity because each one has
Mm-hmm.
its own rules and ways of uttering syllables and vowels, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
Sorry, I can't hear the end, but okay. Noor,
Yes.
you have raised an important issue, which is two important issues. The first issue is the question of that you call the question of heart. By heart,
Yes.
I think you mean hard to learn or not. Yeah. And in this case,
Complexity, I think. It's
yeah, these
complex,
are we enter into language learning, etc.
yes.
That that is part of another question, okay? But let's
Okay.
focus on what you said about the linguistic complexity. Yeah?
Okay.
Mhm. Give me one or
Uh,
two examples because I think you are right, but give me examples.
Dealing with linguistics, Arabic and English grammar. An example. Okay. For example, with verbs,
Mm-hmm.
the personal pronouns, and dealing with the verbs, each personal pronoun
Yeah,
has its own verb. With
good,
English,
good.
it, he, and she. The verb ends with s. The other ones they do not end with s. That's the
Yeah, you
complication.
are right. This is
That's
a
what I
very
mean.
good example. What you are given here is a
Even
very good
in German, every single personal pronoun has its own verb, so it's so hard to learn German.
yeah.
This is the third example.
Mhm. Yeah, you are saying something true. But here, the fact that there are areas of complexity.
Yes,
In any language, you have, for example, the Arabic language, you are mentioning a very interesting area of complexity that we call the inflectional complexity. What does inflectional mean? As you have explained, if you conjugate a verb in Arabic, you have a very specific inflection for each personal pronoun. Yes or no?
yes,
Added to this complexity, the verbs are not classified in the same way. In English, for example, we say we have lexical verbs and auxiliary verbs. Yes or no?
yes,
In Arabic, we talk about الفعل الصحيح السالم, الفعل المهموس, الفعل الناقص, المعتل, etc. Okay? So we
yeah,
talk about many classifications of verbs and many uh, inflectional changes that occur with every personal pronoun. This is a very important area of complexity that you do not find in English, for example. you find to a certain extent in French, you also find in German, yes or no?
Yes,
Who
it's
knows
so hard,
Italian?
German. I don't know it, but sometimes I take a look at the German language and I find it so hard to learn. The grammar, like I said earlier, the
Mhm.
each personal pronoun has the verb is different.
Is
It's
it
not
like
like
Arabic
in
with the inflectional
maybe it's like it's hard like Arabic, but not easier than English.
أنت تلعب وأنت تلعبين. Is it the kind of inflectional difference
No, I
or is
don't.
it much more complex?
I think it's much more harder than this.
Okay. Yeah, you are mentioning a very important thing that that has puzzled the linguists about the complexity of certain languages. But the point is that linguists have agreed that all languages are complex. Okay? We
Okay,
start from the premise that there is no simple language. All languages are complex. In what sense? All languages are not sort of one block or words. When you speak a language, you do not speak single words that are separated. All languages are complex in terms of the
maybe they
yes,
mean every language has its own ways, its difficulties. They're all
yeah,
complex by their own ways. Maybe
good. Yeah, what you are saying is really very interesting. Okay. Yes,
okay.
all languages are complex. We have to start from this premise in order to discard the idea that there are primitive languages, simple languages with no grammar. All
Yeah.
languages have grammar. All languages require syntactic combinations. All languages have units that are combined in a grammatical, predictable way. But what you are saying here is very interesting. We are talking about areas of complexity.
Yes.
Are talking about areas of complexity, and if you look at Arabic and German, obviously one important area of complexity that raises many problems in language learning is a problem of what we call the inflectional rules, or what we call also
Intellectual complexity.
I don't know, in Arabic we call them الصرف وقوانين الصرف etc.
Yes.
صرف to mean
تصريف الأفعال.
would say that also the
تصريف معناها.
addition to the morphology of Arabic,
نحو.
yes. But if you look at English, for example, it's true that in terms of yes, تصريف الأفعال or علم الصرف in general, okay. Uh, in English, it's true that English is not an inflectional language. English has one single inflection, which is a third person inflection in the singular. Okay.
Yeah.
Other in the third person singular. Otherwise, you can just conjugate your verbs. It's okay for the simple present. Okay. You don't have really many grammatical rules to learn compared to the bulk of grammatical and inflectional rules that you have to learn in order to conjugate verbs in Arabic. Okay. But you have other areas of complexity in English. Okay. We take
Yes.
an example, for example, the area of
كيف؟
derivational morphology.
I
Derivational
don't know morphology
morphology.
actually. Morphology.
Morphology has to do when you say, for example, child, childhood, uh, forgetfulness, for example, these
Uh,
kind of suffixes that you add to a root in order to form new words. Morphologically speaking, as far
Okay.
as derivational morphology is concerned, we talk about a much more complex English grammar than Arabic grammar, okay? But anyway, linguists are more concerned with the syntactic complexity than with the morphological complexity. They set the standard for complexity regarding the syntactic complexity. And the syntactic complexity has to do with the arrangement of words in sentences. They believe that all languages are equal in that sense, in the sense that all languages have rules for word combination to form grammatical sentences. Do you see the point?
Yes.
Amira,
Yes.
not Amira, you are
No.
Noor?
Yes.
Noor. Yeah. So grammarians think that there is no primitive language, there is no simple language. There are no simple languages because all languages are complex in terms of syntactic organization. They did not compare morphological organization. What we can say here is that when talking about complexity, is that there are areas of complexity.
Is there areas of complexity?
Yeah, there are more areas of complexity than saying that languages are more complex than another. We can only say that all languages are complex. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Now we move to the question, are there easy or difficult languages? Who wants to ask to answer the question? It's okay, I think now. Salsabil, what are you doing here? Okay, it's okay. Now, what did you say, Salsabil?
She was asking if we should take notes.
Yeah, of course, if you want. We are discussing things, we are raising issues. If you find something interesting to write down, you can write. Otherwise, you have your text in your booklet on page 20 and 21. We have very interesting text on the comparison between languages, okay, and the equality of languages. You can read them. You can read
Okay.
this text.
Thank you.
It's very interesting. Okay.
Thank you.
Here, I want your feedback so that we can build on it rather than focus on something written. You have it there, okay? Yes, so the question of are there easy languages or difficult languages? Who wants to answer this question? There are a lot of prejudice relating to this question. Who has this question, please?
I have this question.
Who is talking here, please?
Nuran.
Nuran.
Amira?
Nuran is talking.
Nuran.
Are
Nuran. Nuran is
Nura,
talking.
Okay,
where is she?
here. Uh,
Nuran
so
is
I was
Yes,
talking.
actually, I was
yes,
actually,
Nuran.
I was actually going to say
Speak
yes.
up a little bit if you can.
I was actually going to say yes, there are simple and easy languages, but
Mhm.
you said no, so I think I have nothing to say about it.
Yeah. Now I want give me an example of a simple language or easy language.
I mean, if I say that there are some simple and easy languages, then automatically I'm gonna think there are harder languages. And
Yeah, this is some.
we
You are
already talked
starting
about
very well here. Yeah.
German, and we said that it's hard in terms of grammar and speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So if I compare it, for example, with Spanish, it's really commonly known that it is really an easy language
Mm-hmm.
because the grammar is easy and the speaking is also easy. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and as I said to your friend, the problems are mostly morphological problem rather than problems pertaining to the syntactic complexity. But there are other factors actually that have to do with considering a language easy or difficult. Okay, apart from the morphological complexity. Can you give me examples of factors affecting the value judgment that we give to certain languages as easy or difficult? Who knows Italian, for example?
me.
I do.
Who is talking, please?
Abir.
Abir, you know a little bit of Italian. Can you tell
Yes.
us that Italian is a difficult language or an easy language in terms of language learning? Here, I mean.
I think Italian in language learning can be somewhat difficult, but at the same time, some aspects can be easy. For example, its grammar, as we gave examples before. Actually, Italian has an inflectional complexity.
Mm-hmm.
Each subject has like the verb has to have a specific conjugation, like it's
Inflection, call
like
it, yeah.
Arabic. Yeah, like Arabic. So
Mm-hmm.
that can be hard. Other than that, like the words are similar to other languages that I've learned before.
French.
Mm-hmm.
It is so close to French,
Yes.
so it is easy.
Yeah,
Yes.
what you are saying is very important. I don't know Italian, but I heard a little bit about this. They say that in terms of grammatical complexity, and especially, I don't mean syntactic complexity. Uh, let's explain the difference between grammatical complexity and syntactic complexity. If we talk about syntactic complexity, we talk about the arrangement of the words in a sentence. And it's true that each language has its own rules for the arrangement of words. Arabic is VS, English is SV.
Yes.
But in spite of this, all languages are complex in this respect because all languages have a highly complex syntactic organization. Coming to morphology, morphological rules that are sometimes considered as grammatical rules, like the rules of inflection. We saw that there are languages that are much more complex than others in syntactic rules, in morphological rules. I'm sorry. And you mentioned Arabic. You mentioned here Italian. Okay. But at the same time, you said that Italian can be easy. In what way can Italian be easy? Abir.
In terms of pronunciation, in terms of the vocabulary, I mean, because I connected to prior languages that I've learned before, so I cannot have a neutral judgment on it.
Good. This is a very good thing that you are saying here. It's true. And if you take, for example, if you take an example of someone coming from Saudi Arabia and you tell him you are going to learn Italian as a second language, okay? I'm sure he's going to tell you that in terms of pronunciation and in terms of vocabulary, Italian is not an easy language, okay? You, as a speaker of Arabic, as a Tunisian speaker of Arabic, where you have learned French before English, there is a similarity in the vocabulary before Italian, sorry. There is a similarity between the two languages in vocabulary item and to a certain extent in pronunciation. And in this case, you would say that the language is easy to learn in terms of pronunciation and vocabulary. So here, the easiness is not, can it be viewed in absolute terms outside the social context and the cultural context and the historical one. Abir,
I'm sorry, I did not catch that. What was the question?
can you say that one language is easier than another in absolute terms, or shall we relate this attribution of the quality of easiness or difficulty and relate it to historical factors and geographical factors and educational factors?
Well, historical and geographical factors can be a very strong factors in learning a language, so that can affect the learning of a language, of course. But I would say every language is easy and hard in its own way. In some aspects, it can be to an extent easy. In other ways, it can be to an extent also hard.
Yeah, you are saying you're right. Here we are. You are raising two important issues. The first one is the areas of complexity that we have already dealt with, and the second one is the other factors than the language that can affect the easiness of learning the language or the difficulty of learning it. And these factors include geography, education, history, attitudes towards the target language. Because if you have a positive attitude to a given culture, you learn the language much easier than when you have a negative attitude towards the culture. If you say that English is a language of colonization, in this case, you will develop a negative attitude to it and you don't want to learn it. On the contrary, if you believe that language is an international language and you want to know about the target language culture, so you are highly motivated to learn the language. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, so we are talking about external factors that affect the learning of a language apart from the syntactic morphological complexity in a language or in another. Yes or no? Let's
Yes,
move to
absolutely.
the next question. Are there inherent limitations in the ability of languages to express ideas and thoughts?
Yeah, that's my question.
I'm sure.
Who
What
is
does it mean, inherent?
inherent? Inherent means in
Natural.
its nature, in its structure,
Okay, thank you.
its nature, and its shape. Can we talk about an inherent handicap in one language or another to express ideas and thoughts?
That's actually my question.
Now, can you imagine, for example, in English, in England, for example, someone starts speaking English and then he stops or she stops and say, "No, I don't find this word in English. I'm going to say it in French." Is this something that happens a lot?
Yes, it happens, I think.
Where?
No, not
In
in
England?
England.
Not in England, in Tunisia, probably.
Yes.
In Tunisia, but not in England. Normally, languages respond to the need of their users And normally, all languages are apt to express the needs of their learners, their speakers, native speakers. It's true that in Tunisia, for example, we tend to code switch a lot. What is to code switch?
Switch
Code?
language, switch dialect.
Yeah, this is
To change.
a
And
technical term in bilingualism.
yes, we Tunisians are uh, somehow bilingualists because we use
Code
as much as
switch.
we use Tunisian Arabic.
Yeah, to code switch. Do you see the word? Yeah, to code switch. Okay. So yes, we code switch a lot in Tunisia, in Tunisian Arabic. But is it due to an inherent handicap in Arabic, or is it due to other factors?
Colonization.
Yeah, it's a historical issue. It's an historical, psychological issue rather than something due to an inherent handicap in the ability of a language to express ideas and thoughts. Of course, you can say that Arabic does not include many terms related to technology. This is not, for example, due to the fact that Arabic is poor at this level. It's much more due to the fact that the technology occurs in other places than uh, Arabic countries. Okay. Do
I don't understand well the
the last
meaning.
point. Who is talking, please?
Amira,
Amira. What is your problem, Amira?
the at the beginning when you say scotch, I don't hear very well
The
what
code
is.
switch.
Yes, yes,
Code switch. Can you see the how it is written on the board?
yes. I will see.
Do you see it now? Where is
Just
the
just 1 minute.
okay? This is to code switch. And to code switch means to change from one language to another or from one dialect to another during conversation, during talk. Okay? We call
Okay,
this code switching. And code
okay,
switching actually is not a natural thing. It's not a natural thing in the sense that it is not part of or is not due to an inherent ability of certain languages to express ideas and thoughts. It's much more related to historical factors. In Tunisian Arabic, for example, it's very well known that we code switch a lot. But this code switch
yes,
is not due to a poorness, to a poverty, sorry, to a poverty
okay,
in the Arabic language, in the Tunisian dialect, in the Arabic language in general. It's much more due to the fact that we are more influenced by the French language due to historical factors. Among the historical factors, you mentioned colonization. Yeah. Do primitive languages exist? Here, the
That's my
question is
question.
no, actually. Yeah, who is talking here? Muhammad?
Muhammad. Muhammad,
Yes,
yes.
what can you say about this?
Nowadays, we can find old primitive tribes which are, compared to us, retarded and
Mm-hmm.
late mentally speaking. I mean, I have watched documentaries showing the life of certain tribes in Asia, like the
Mm-hmm.
Philippines, and actually they still use sticks to hunt and many other outdated tools. Therefore,
Mm-hmm.
the language used in communication is still primitive and narrow. I mean,
You
they
have
use
to check this.
gestures and,
Yeah,
excuse me?
Muhammad, what you're saying is very interesting. Yeah, there are primitive
Yes.
tribes. It's true.
Yep.
But is
Um,
their language primitive? in terms of syntactic complexity, I'm not sure. But if you can prove this to me and you can give me the link to the documentary, I would like to watch it, okay?
Well, first of all, they use gestures and body language more
Do they do
than
this?
sounds. Yes,
Okay.
in
If you
Asia.
find the link, please give it to me, send it to me.
Okay,
Okay?
okay,
Okay.
okay.
So,
Uh-huh.
that's it. I think we have tried to look at the different questions. The main issue here is that it's better not to attribute value judgments to languages and to attribute the quality of superior or inferior to one language or to another. It's better to look at languages and compare languages along complexity, richness, easiness, difficulty, and so on. And these parameters have shown in general terms that we cannot talk about differences in terms of the potential of languages or the ability of languages to
Mhm.
express the
I
ideas
understand,
and
yes.
thoughts of their users. Yeah?
Hmm.
Yes,
Yes, I'm
Mohammed?
understanding. Yes, I'm understanding what you're saying.
Yeah, all languages have the potential to express the needs of their users. If there is a problem or a weakness in language, you have to understand it from a historical point of view, from the point of view of technological development, from a point of view of political decisions, etc. For example, in Arabic, if you decide to teach maths in secondary school, in
Hmm.
French, this does not mean that Arabic cannot be a language of mathematics. It means that the political decisions were not courageous enough, brave enough to swift or to shift into Arabic and to teach mathematics in Arabic. To prove this, in other countries, they teach uh, mathematics in Arabic. So it's much more a question of political decision and political dependence rather than inherent incapability in one language or another to express ideas and thoughts. Do you have any questions?
No, that's actually clear. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so this is one opportunity to look and to compare languages. So one last point we can deduce from here is that since we are studying linguistics and linguistics is a science, it's not good to jump into value, judgment, and prejudice. To compare languages, you have to compare languages in a scientific way. Thank you for your attention. Sorry again for the inconvenience I may have caused you through bringing your this at this late hour here. I think that the problem is already solved, and I think
Thank you.
I
Thank
hope
you so
that
much.
things will go smoothly. Good night. Thank you. See you
No
next week.
problem.
Good
Okay.
night.